to have my guest on today, Kyle Harrison. Let's bring a friend of mine in, Pat Burrow. Pat, how are you today?
Bill, I'm doing great, man. Glad to be on with you.
Giants fans, this is Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On your exclusive home of the San Francisco Giants, KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM. The sports leader.
2-2 pitch. Little bouncer hits softly, third base side. Into field it is Chapman. Here's the throw to first, and he got him! What a play with a fast runner on a softly hit ground ball to third. Chapman sprinting in, gloving it just in front of the bag, and while still on the run, making the exchange to the throwing hand and the across-the-body throw right on the money to get him by a fraction of a step at first base. The ball game is over. The Giants make it 2 in a row over the Mariners.
Welcome into a Saturday night post-game show here. It's an extra inning post-game show with Bill Laskey. Boy, I got a lot to talk about tonight, and let's just start off with the celebration of the opening day yesterday. What a game, just a total event. The Giants always put on some of the greatest events, and opening day yesterday was spectacular. The weather, the flyovers, and sure enough, a 4-hour game where Willy Adames gets the game-winning hit, and the Giants win 10-9 in front of 40,000 fans. It was such an electric game yesterday. And I think all the players loved having that 6:05 start today. With all the excitement yesterday, the rest prevailed. And sure enough, Robbie Ray came through. A couple great hits by Jung-Hoo Lee and Matt Chapman, and the Giants end up winning their 6th game in a row. They've taken 3 series already. They beat the Reds 2 out of 3. They beat Houston 3 out of 3, swept them. And now they have an opportunity to sweep the Seattle Mariners tomorrow, as the Giants are now 7-1. The first time they've been 7-1 since 2003. If you remember that year, boy, you got some good memories, because the Giants came out really hot that year. And we go back to even further than that. Last time the Giants have won 6 games in a row goes back to 2023. They won 2 against Colorado, 3 against Pittsburgh, and then they took 2 against Cincinnati. So these wins are adding up, and the confidence of this team is building, and every game has just been exciting so far. 6 wins in a row, Giants fans. They're 7-1. Just a great start for Bob Melvin and Buster Posey and some of the new players, Willy Adames and Justin Verlander. Boy, they just talked so elegantly yesterday after the game about how the Giants fans were excited, how the celebration of opening day was. Willy Adames said, "I've never been to something like that." That just proves, I mean, he is so excited to play here. And for the game so far, he is just locked in, along with Matt Chapman on that left side of the infield. Some great defense out of both of them today. But this game's really started early, before 6:05, when Matt Chapman and Patrick Bailey got their gold gloves. Matt Chapman getting his 5th gold glove. He's got 2 platinum gloves also. Of course, 5 times he won it: 2018, 2019, 2021, 2023, and now 2024. And Patrick Bailey gets his first of his career. And when you looked at him, it's pretty cool when you see the catcher's glove painted gold. It's a regular glove. They just literally dip it in gold, and it's really cool what Rawlings does. Matt Chapman's got a few of them on his mantle. But it all started off with Robbie Ray in that first inning. The third pitch of the game gives up a base hit to Robles, and all of a sudden he's in the stretch. Didn't take him long, 2 punch outs and a ground out, and he was out of the first inning. Overall, just pitched just like he did in Cincinnati. If you remember his last start, 5 perfect innings in Cincinnati. The strike zone was a little tight today. James Hoy was really tight on the low pitch, on the corners. A couple of sliders that he threw on the outside corner, he didn't give him that pitch. And he ended up walking 5 guys. I think that was about the only thing that he did wrong today, because he really pitched well, picked off a guy. A nice throw by Huff behind the plate. Stolen base was taken away. And he was on a roll. When you looked at what he did in his outing today, he threw 88 pitches, 54 for strikes. Really a nice model there when you walk 5 guys. 13 first pitch strikes out of 24 hitters. He gave up a home run to Dylan Moore. That was about it. It was a 1-0 fastball, trying to get it over for plate and hit it out to center field. 5 ground ball outs, 5 fly ball outs. Went 6 innings, 4 hits, 5 walks, as I said, 2 strikeouts. And then when you start dissecting what he did in the pitches he threw, like I said, 88 pitches, 55 fastballs he threw. And then when you looked at average, was about 92, 93. Got it up to about 94, 95, which is about where he tops out at. The knuckle curveball, threw a lot more breaking balls today, threw 13 curveballs and 10 sliders. The changeup was really around 9 or 10, just like he did with Cincinnati, a new pitch he's just trying to throw in there. But he had a lot of nice 0-1 changeups. He had a couple of them to Solano, got one on Bliss. But he mixed up his pitches well. A couple times, a lot of shakeoffs. And, of course, when you got a young catcher named Sam Huff behind the plate, there was a lot of miscommunication, maybe just second-guessing. He ended up getting a walk on a time pitch again. The old pitch clock got him on a walk, and that happened in the 3rd inning. And he just shook off. He kept shaking off. And sure enough, the clock stopped it. It was a 3-2 pitch, and umpire called it a pitch clock. And if you remember what happened in the game in Cincinnati, he had that, and all of a sudden he came unglued. A couple home runs right after that. But today he really settled in. The walks bothered him a little bit, but he really pitched well in certain situations today. After the home run ball in the 5th inning, he walked Bliss, he walked Crawford. He gives a base hit to Robles. But in that time, they had a 1-3-6 double play, so that was clean, got out of that. And that's what I'm talking about, getting in these jams, and then he got out of it. And I thought that was really key to him. A pickoff play in that inning started it. The 1-3-6 was I was talking about. He picked off Bliss. And, of course, Lamont Wade Jr. on that play stepped forward to get a better angle at the throw to shortstop Willie Adames, and it really played off. And then the walk and a base hit, he gets a fly ball to right field. That was really one of the big jams he's had. Had a nice 4-6-3 double play in the 4th inning with Rosano Rayleigh, and in the 3rd inning, that was in the 4th inning, he got the double play in that inning to get out of it also. There's sometimes, he got behind, and you just start looking at that. And I think at the end of 6 innings, Bob Melvin said that was enough. And I really liked what he did. He brought Hayden Birdsong in. From Robbie Ray, the 33-year-old, to Hayden Birdsong, the 23-year-old. And Birdsong threw well. Another out of the bullpen, something new that he's learning to adapt to. He goes 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And I like what he did. First pitch strikes, of course, 7 out of 8 were first pitch strikes. He threw 17 strikes out of 27 pitches. And he literally just stuck with a fastball. He was at 96, 97, a couple curveballs, 7 changeups. Really had a couple guys jumping at the changeup, and 6 sliders. So he ended up throwing really well for the 2 innings he pitched. And then next thing you know, Ryan Walker comes in, throws 17 pitches, all first pitch strikes, 4 hitters, 4 for 4. 17 pitches, 12 for strikes. So that was a nice outing by the entire pitching staff, especially yesterday. After you see they go Verlander, Rodriguez, Trevino, Duvall, Miller, Rogers, Walkers, and Bivens. The bullpen needed a day's rest, as well as the starting pitching. I mean, Robbie Ray gave them 6 solid innings, and that was a big plus when you look on the pitching side. On the hitting side, the Giants really didn't get anything started till the 4th inning. Jung-Hoo Lee, the grandson of Wind, of course, we knew that one. But I loved it. Section 142, they opened up the Jung-Hoo crew. And they were loud. They had the T-shirts going. They had the banners going. And now we get to see a little more excitement, the Jung-Hoo Lee crew out there in Section 142. And he really played a good game today. Yesterday made a nice defensive play in the outfield. Today he started it off with a double in the 4th inning, an 0-1 split by Bryce Miller, knocked it right down the first base line by Solano, and that was the first hit the Giants got. And this is what I like what the Giants have been doing. They've been stealing bags. We talked about this last weekend, of being a little more aggressive. And in the 8 games they played, 11 stolen bases right there, Giants fans, and I loved it. And sure enough, on the first pitch, it was a strike to Chapman. They threw to third, and he stole third base. The next pitch, an 0-1 changeup up to Matt Chapman, and he drilled it by Dylan Moore. Infield was in, but he put it right by Dylan Moore for a double, and they knocked the first run in. fly ball for by Ramos, but that's a good call because he got the runner over to third base. And Yastrzemski, the first pitch he saw was a cutter in on his hands, and he got enough on it to bloop it over the second baseman's head and got the base hit and got the second run in. A nice RBI base hit by Yaz. Yaz was on base all 4 times. He had 3 walks with the solid base hit. He went one for one with 3 walks. Wilmer Flores had a nice day today. He went 2 for 4. In the 6th inning, the Giants started once again. Jung-Hoo Lee got a 2-2 curveball, hit it out to right center field for a double. And Matt Chapman followed him up with the first fastball he saw. A ball away, took it over to right field, right down the right field line. Nice bit of hitting by Matt Chapman, and that get Jung-Hoo Lee coming in for his second run he scored. And then a Ramos ground ball to first base, exactly what you're trying to do to get the runner over to third base. You give up your spot, and you get the guy to third. High fives were flying in the dugout. Yastrzemski gets a walk on 4 pitches, and Wilmer Flores greets Trenton Thornton with an 0-1 slider. Just got enough of it to get it out to left center field for his RBI. 11 RBIs already for Wilmer Flores on a young season. And the Giants had scored their 4 runs. And just a great time. Just good baseball right there in the hitting department as well as driving in runs. And the Giants score 4 runs. End up with 4 runs on 10 hits. No errors. Defense has been solid. 2 double play balls today, which was nice. The one ball that when Hayden Birdsong was in, a ball over the mound that Tyler Fitzgerald ended up toe tapping second base and then going to first base for a double play to get out of that inning. Some good defense behind Robbie Ray, Birdsong, and Walker. And the Giants end up winning their 6th win in a row. So good stuff right there. We got a lot to talk about tonight. 808 KNBR, if you want to get on the phone lines. Love to talk to the fans leaving the ballpark. I know the ushers and usherettes always call in. And the Giants right now have swept the Mariners 2 out of 2. They've won 3 series so far, so it's a good day right there. And I think that's what we have to kind of live on right now. The Giants are playing good baseball, sound baseball. When you look at the Mariners are struggling a little bit, hitting under 200 as a team. The Giants are hitting about 240 as a team. So good things on both sides on that. And tomorrow's a big game. Jordan Hicks can really do a good job here and try to sweep the Mariners. Boy, he pitched lights out in Houston. So we'll talk about the matchup tomorrow as we move forward. I had a great interview today later on in the show. I ended up catching up with Alan Keano. And you're like, who's Alan Keano, Bill? Well, he's a pitching coach at AAA in Sacramento, his 2nd full year. And we ended up talking about this staff down there, and Kyle Harrison really throwing the ball well. Of course, Tristan Beck, Sean Jelly, a host of pitchers that were in the big leagues last year, and we kind of dissect what they've been doing in Sacramento, but that's later in the show. 808 KNBR, we'll take our first break, come back with more, talk about this game, talk about the San Francisco Giants team. They're 7-1. I'm Bill Laskey. This is the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
Your financial journey is unique, and Pettinelli Financial Partners is here to help you navigate it with confidence. So whether you're building your future or securing your retirement, their team provides lifelong personal guidance every step of the way. Start planning your financial journey today. Learn more at PettinelliFP.com. The financial consultants at Pettinelli Financial Partners are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Stratus Wealth Partners, a registered investment advisor. Stratus Wealth Partners and Pettinelli Financial Partners are separate entities from LPL Financial.
You're listening to the former Giants righty. It's KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Heard on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR.
Line drive down the right field line. That's a base hit. Off the pillar between the second and third archways. Lee around third. He scores. The throw goes into second. Offline and a sliding double from Matt Chapman. So Lee's double is followed post-haste by a Chapman double. He slashed one down the right field line, a fastball away, and it's 3-1 Giants.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the way we want to brand ourselves. That's the kind of baseball we want to play. I think from the day we showed up to spring training, the coaches really put emphasized, situational hitting and just being a baseball team. I think we got a bunch of baseball players on this team, and, it's a tough division, a tough league. So if we're going to find ways to win games, we got to be able to do it in a bunch of different ways. So I think it's going to serve us well this whole year.
All right, welcome back to the Extra Inning post-game shows. We hear some comments from Matt Chapman on the post-game, but boy, what a day for Matt Chapman. Gets his 5th Gold Glove Award before the game with his wife and beautiful daughter. And then what happens after that? Boy, is bobblehead day today. 40,000 fans are at the ballpark. Some got gold bobbleheads, others got a nice bobblehead, and he made a great play to end the game on Crawford, a little dribbler out in front, and his side from the hip throw to first base. Just an outstanding player at third base. I still say he's the best in the game right now, and there's no question about it. There's others out there, and I'm sure we could argue all day, but for me, Matt Chapman, I'd love to have him playing third base any day for me. And what does he do at the plate? 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. So a nice day for Matt Chapman, and the San Francisco Giants win this game 4-1. Robbie Ray gets his second win for the year. Ryan Walker gets his third save of the year, and the San Francisco Giants have now won 6 games in a row. And I said this earlier, first time they started the season out 7-1 since 2003. Good start. We'll get more tomorrow. Jordan Hicks on the hill against Brian Wu. A good pitching matchup tomorrow. Brian Wu, one of the best pitchers for the Mariners. He's 1-0 with a 1.5. He threw 6 innings against the Athletics and got the win. He only gave up 1 earned run, 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 Ks. And on the other side, Jordan Hicks, what an outstanding job he did against the Houston Astros. He went 6 innings, no earned runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, hit 99 and 100 with the fastball. Electric stuff, a nice hard sinker and a slider, and we'll see if he can complement that with a nice outing tomorrow right here. 1:05 first pitch right here on KNBR, the sports leader. 808 KNBR if you want to get on the phone lines. Got a few on hold. Let's go out to Arizona and talk to my buddy Craig. Craig, how are you?
My favorite Guillermo, welcome back. Good to hear your voice, and greetings from beautiful Prescott, Arizona, and northern Arizona.
Yeah,
Hey,
boy, the
when
Giants
Bus-
played well in Arizona this spring, getting 22 wins in spring training, and I think that was a good start for this team because they built some nice momentum going into this season, Craig, and we've seen it so far. They're 7-1.
Man. And when Buster got the job, I thought for a minute, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to give Buster 2 years, no questions asked. And
now you're switching, right? Now you're saying, it may not be 2 years. You know what he's brought to this team is baseball, and we talked about this for years, Craig, and when you've called into the show, and the last 6 years wasn't true baseball. Baseball was trying to be changed through analytics. He thought everything was done through a computer. And you and I both know this. We're old-timers, and we know what baseball's all about. It's about the player and how he plays every game with heart and soul. And some guys are tired. Sure, that's where Bob Melvin and his coaching staff will say pull them out. But this team right now, I mean, he started, Sam Huff today, which I love, giving Patrick Bailey a little time off. And he got back in the game when he needed to. And I think this is what Bob Melvin knows about baseball. He knows his players, and he's getting to know more and more as they get going here. They've only played 8 games. They've, of course, a nice long spring training. And I think that's what we're seeing different out of this team, Craig.
Yeah. Well, you and FP are my favorite baseball psychologists. And I think, when Buster got the job, I was just giddy for about a month, and I figured this was going to happen. They're calling it the Buster effect. I'm calling it Buster Land. And so I think we're going to be smiling real big in another month.
I love it. This next road trip, we're going to see what they can do. Of course, they finished with 3 against the Reds. They go play the Yankees next weekend. They go to Philadelphia and play 4 there, and then they come back and play Anaheim for 3. So that's going to be a nice road trip to test out this team.
Yeah, but boy, we can be giddy tonight.
We sure can, and anytime a win streak comes about, it's just good baseball. And both days, over 40,000 fans flocked to Oracle Park, and boy, it was loud today. And I just love, I've said it a couple of times, Section 142 out in the outfield for Jung Hoo Lee, and he's got a crew out there with T-shirts, and it's exciting when you hear a chants on him, and he was electric today.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, and great to talk to you.
Well, Craig, thank you for the call, and stay cool in Arizona. It hasn't got that hot so far.
No, it's going up. It was 85 in Phoenix today.
There you go. Thanks for the call, Craig. Appreciate it. And I think all Giants fans are starting to realize this. This is a team that wins in all different things. We talk about good defense, good pitching, stolen bases. How many times have we talked about that over the last few years? 30th out of 30 teams. And this year so far, 11 stolen bases in 8 games. And just getting on base, trying to get the extra base, trying to get into scoring position. Jung-Hoo Lee, that was electric when he got from second to third on the stolen base after he hit the double. It really brought everybody to the feet. All the feet. Fans were really cheering hard the last couple days. And that brings us back to all those great years with the San Francisco Giants. 808 KNBR, let's talk some more Giants baseball. Let's go out to San Francisco and talk to Mike. Mike, you're on the Extra Inning post-game show with Bill Laskey. How you doing tonight on a Saturday?
I'm doing pretty good. It's my father's birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Mike's dad.
Yeah, it's a Jerry go-round. He has the same name as our Buster. But, yeah, how are you tonight, Bill?
Well, watching yesterday's game, I didn't get to go to the game. I had a few things on my schedule, but yesterday, watching most of it from the house and then watching today's game pitch to pitch, there is a difference in this team. There is more confidence. There's more when they come off that field after the third out, when they're ready to get their helmets and bats going. There's more energy there, Mike, and that's what I'd love to see in that dugout.
It's as good a team as we've seen. And we're not thinking 108 wins, but we are thinking about the World Series in this house.
Well, you still got the whole NL West to play, and that's where it's really going to come down to. But when you get momentum like they're doing and the never die, we're not dead yet kind of theory, and that's what you saw
fighting
yesterday.
For each other.
Yeah, yesterday's game was like that. I throw a punch, you throw a punch. We're going to score 2. We're going to score 3. That's what that game was about. And to see the final base hit by Willie Adames and the fans that stayed, that was fun. That was just fun Giants baseball.
Absolutely, I was there. It was grueling. It was all about confidence, and nobody in the crowd seemed to let up. Obviously, it's so early. It's the home opener, but it's a vibe, right? And that's what we're saying.
It is.
Yeah.
Whatever you see, let me ask you this, Mike. You and I have talked baseball for many years, and what do you see different about this team? What do you see that they have this life about them this year?
Well, let me point towards series, and that's the way you taught me.
Yep.
The first series on the road, we had a few guys not do so well with the bat, and those players were Patrick Bailey, Willie Adames, and the third one was Lamont Wade Jr. And they came into that game yesterday, and they put up the most hits.
Well, even a Houston series, all three of them got a little warmer. They got some hits when they needed it. And yesterday, like you said, Lamont Wade Jr. is now starting. Had a tough game today, took an 0 for 4. Do you like him leading off? Do you like that? Would you rather see Jung-Hoo Lee leading off?
I'm happy with everything they've decided upon.
Okay, I'm just throwing some ideas out there. That's just,
it's too early to tell, and they set the bottom line. But I think as far as some goals go, like Matt Chapman, I'll explain. It's 8 down and 84 to go, and I think he could have that career high 92 in RBIs. But I think we got a lot of guys that are going to have these goals in mind this year, and it's just because everybody enjoys working with each other. With Martinez, JP, he's talking about throwing strikes, and that's mostly for the young pitchers because Verlander and Ray have been there, and we've got to acknowledge that, right?
Yeah, tight zone today. I would have to say the 5 walks. Of course, he had 1 on the pitch clock. A lot of tight pitches, and I thought he didn't. When you're looking at James Hoy, he really didn't call a low pitch enough. A lot of pitches were knee high, a little bit under, and then the outside corner, he wasn't calling that wraparound slider that Robbie Ray threw, and he threw a lot of them, but he didn't call them. And I think that's where Robbie Ray asked him a couple times. And he said, nope, they're outside or low. And that's all you really need to know as a pitcher, because now I know where the zone is, and I know if I call a low pitch, I throw a low pitch, it's a ball, I know that's where it is. And as a pitcher, all you want to know is the consistent strike zone that he's putting down there, and then you can kind of operate off that.
Makes sense theoretically to me. I just think it's one thing I do love, and it's the way Buster and Bob decided to give the guys the green light this year. And, not 100%. Of course, We're gonna.
I like
reins if
I,
they're
I
getting
like the
top.
green light on the bases. I really do. We've talked about that too, Mike, and they just didn't do that last year. They didn't put anybody in motion. Now they are, and a couple nice. I mean, Willie Adames, that was so close at second base when he tried to steal a bag.
It was near a tie bag, but I think they got it right. Have you seen the difference in how much fun Mark Halberg is having coaching first base this season?
I think you're just going to see a lot more of it. I had a great interview with him, and we're going to have it on tomorrow after the post-game show about what his duties are as a first base coach. And, Mike, you're going to enjoy it. You brought it up. He brings up a lot of different things, and I think fans need to understand all the homework he does as well as all the homework Matt Williams does to know the arms in the outfield and know the discipline of the moves to first base. It's a really good interview. You'll enjoy it tomorrow.
Okay, I'm getting the brooms ready. So talk to you later, Bill. Have a good night.
All right, Mike, I appreciate it. And, just going off of that, your fans just don't understand how much these guys as coaches understand the arms, the speed, the moves for first base. And I threw it out there. Mark Hallberg on tomorrow. Today, of course, later on the show, Alan Keano, the pitching coach from Sacramento. Just some great stuff on the young arms that is in AAA. Dave Righetti and I spoke this past week, and he's just like their staff down there, Bill, could easily be a big league staff with all the great arms and the young pitchers and some of the old pitchers, too, that are trying to make it back to the big leagues. But just an all-around, you don't have enough pitching. We've talked about that for many times. Everybody talks about that in a 162-game season. There's always arms that are going to get sore. There's always guys going to be scuffling, and that's why you need that surplus of arms in AAA. 808 KNBR if you want to get on our phone lines. Extra innings with Bill Laskey's continuing here. Let's go out to JV. JV was at the game today. How are you today?
I'm good, buddy. How about you?
I'm doing good. Great game. Good win. How was the electricity in that ballpark tonight?
Man, it was really cool. It was the first game, obviously, I've been to this year. I'm heading back to Sacramento where actually Laskey says hello to you.
Johnny Dosco, the Oakland A's. Yeah, I work with Johnny up in the River Cat days, and I'm so glad he's doing radio for the Athletics now. He's got a 162-game season, and I'm just so pumped up for him of all the work that he put into it, and now he's getting the glamour of being in the big leagues.
That's right. He's a good buddy of mine. So, but anyway, yeah, one of the things and I kind of feel like I'm going to go off on a couple different tangents, not the original reason I called, but you asked the last caller about Jung-Ho Lee potentially batting leadoff. I actually really like him in the 3-hole. I think Lamont Wade with his on-base percentage and just, he has such a good eye. He works counts.
100%.
Not saying Jung-Ho doesn't, but I just think he has maybe a little bit more punch in the 3-hole than Lamont does. And, you got to break up all those righty bats. So I do like the layout right now.
JV, in the beginning of spring when Bob Melvin said, no, I think he could be a leadoff hitter or he could hit number 3, and I think that was the first person to question him hitting 3. I thought with his speed and how aggressive he is, and I threw it out there just as a comment of mine, but I'm right there with you. I think the 3-hole for Jung-Ho Lee has been productive, and you got Chapman following him up with Ramos, and when the lefty throws, you got Ramos who could possibly lead off. Bob's using all his useful knowledge of what he can do in this batting order, and so far it's been working, and I'm right there with you. I'm keeping him right in the 3-hole myself also.
And I wouldn't mind when, Fitzgerald gets hot, moving him up towards the top of the lineup just because his we've seen he does have the bat control. He's fast. But one of the guys that, he had such a tough year last year, and I'm not sure if he was battling injuries or whatever, but he just, he's kind of getting back to the form he was, I think maybe 2 years ago is, obviously it's early in the season, but Wilmer Flores is just absolutely carrying this team on the offensive side of the ball.
11 RBIs already. How about that? When you look at what he's done, 4 home runs. His batting average is down a little bit, but it's still early, like you say. But, all the factors of how he's hitting, his legs were out last year. The power of a hitter comes through their legs. Had a lot of issues with that, and he's healthy this year. You can see he's been a little more muscle bound. His body looks a lot better. I love him when he's down in the order, like he's got him in the 7 spot. I think that's a nice spot for him. Take a little pressure off him. Today he came up with a nice RBI, base hit. I think that was in the 4th inning. No, the 6th inning is when he got the RBI. But overall, I mean, 2 for 4 tonight. Really productive bats for him.
You know, and then I think one of the only last things I was going to mention was, you know, I was at the game, so I can't see on TV. You can't see the strike zone quite as much. I know you're mentioning the strike zone, but Robbie Ray didn't look like he had his normal stuff as far as, you know, even his fastball velocity. He looked like he was kind of, you know, even though he kind of did have some first pitch strikes, he would then fall behind in the count. I just loved that he battled. You know, he just, you know, whether it was the zone or maybe he didn't have his A stuff, he just battled. And, you know, as you mentioned, we needed it, gave the bullpen a rest. And then, you know, one of the things that I think is just the most exciting things for me this year is, you know, they say defense and speed doesn't slump, right? And if we have those two aspects of the game all year, you know, you've been mentioning the pitching staff. It's deep, not only, you know, in the big leagues, but, you know, they had to make tough decisions at the end of camp, sending Jelly down, sending Harrison down. So, you know, reinforcements are ready when and if we need them. I'm just overall super, super excited and optimistic that, you know, I'm not saying they're gonna continue to win 7 out of 8 games, but you know, just the idea that they're going to be in a lot of games that they weren't last year, and I think, you know, the guys look like they're playing more free too. I think, you know, relievers not knowing if they're going to be, you know, put in the 4th inning because there's some weird analytic thing that says that they might be better against this guy, or, you know, just guys knowing they've got a role, that's their role, play baseball, play a little bit more free. You know, like I said, I know I'm rambling a little, but I'm excited about the team.
No, you're so right, JV,
and
because, you know, when you come out of that locker room, when you're leaving the locker room, Bob Melvin's got the lineup up already. Last year he didn't have that. He couldn't do it because Farhan was giving him the lineup sometimes an hour before the game. And this is what baseball's about. When you leave the locker room and you see that lineup and you didn't play today and all of a sudden I'm in tomorrow, now you're locked in. You know when you go to the ballpark the next day, you're in that lineup, and it is mentally. You mentally prepare. That's the game of baseball. You're always looking to see who's up first, who's in the bullpen up first. Hayden Birdsall coming in today. It really threw 2 really nice innings, and he's learning how to pitch coming out of the bullpen. It's difficult when you've been a starter. And the other thing, too, JV, he's 23 years old. So he's got to get in there and understand, I got to throw fastball, curveball, changeup. And I love Patrick Bailey coming into the part of the game when he came in to slow him down, slow the pace down, slow the heartbeat down. He goes out there, throws 27 pitches, 17 for strikes, 7 out of 8 first pitch strikes. Now that's what he's learning how to do coming out of the bullpen.
I was going to ask you about that. Was there? Do you think it was just defensive replacement, or typically when
I think it was both. I think it was both because Sam Huff he pinch hit into 6th inning for Sam Huff, who really was outmatched today in both of his at bats. Punched out on 3 pitches in the 3rd, little weak fly ball in the right field, and Patrick Bailey came in there with 1st and 2nd 2 outs. So it was a good pinch hit opportunity for him. Sure, he flew out to center field, but I think that's what Bob had because Robbie Ray was coming out of the game after the 6th. Hayden Birdsall was warming up, so the switch made Bailey catch Birdsong. I think that's what you want to try. You want to gel that, and just to have Bailey behind the plate for the last 3 innings, it settles down the bullpen. You got a little bit more knowledge behind the plate. Sam Huff's learning. This is what I was surprised, but again, you know, you look at the game yesterday, 4-hour game. It was a good move by Bob to give Sam Huff an opportunity with Robbie Ray. A lot of shakeoffs, though. That was the only thing I saw with them. But getting back to Robbie Ray, you know, he had a couple really quick innings. In the 4th inning, he only threw 9 pitches. And in the first 3 innings, 16, 14, 14, it was really that 5th inning when he gave up the home run ball. He got in trouble. He threw 20 pitches that inning. Overall, I thought he threw good. walking 5 guys. The one was on the pitch clock. But overall, I think everybody's pretty pleased in watching him go both games through into the 6th inning, and I think that's the plus, having Robbie Ray right in the middle of 4 starting pitchers that are right-handed.
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned, I haven't had a chance to really see much of his game, and as much as I love going to the games, watching it on TV, you can just kind of see different angles and kind of watch different. So, but if we're nitpicking here, there has been the last couple of years. I mean, kind of since Kurt Casale, there's been kind of a struggle trying to find it. I know Tom Murphy got hurt, but trying to find that kind of backup catcher, and Huff looked completely overmatched today. That's why I thought there was a chance he was hurt or something, because some of the swings he was taking, it was like there was no lower half. He was throwing his hand. I'm like just thinking maybe something's wrong with him. And then when because I think he kind of maybe flew out. He barely made
right
contact.
Field.
And and
real
then
weak fly ball, too. It was so late on it, JV. It's just a little weak fly ball to right field. The 2 at-bats, like you said and I just mentioned, he was overmatched. He just didn't look comfortable at the plate at all today.
So I wasn't sure if there was a chance that he, was feeling an oblique or something was going on, which is why they took him out. But what you're saying makes a ton of sense. Yeah, Hayden Birdsong coming in out of the pen, just having, the presence of Bailey back there to help him out. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, sure does. JV, thanks for the call. Good stuff, and make sure you tell Johnny D I said hi, and good baseball talk tonight. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Yep, Giants win. There's 6 wins in a row. 808 KNBR, got a few on the hole there. I'm going to be right back with you, but we'll talk more about the game tomorrow with Jordan Hicks against Brian Wu, and bring up some more stuff from this game as we're on the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
From the mound to the mic, this is KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Hear him by saying to your smart speaker, play KNBR.
Here's the pitch. Swing, line drive, base hit, left field. Wilmer comes through in the clutch. Chapman crosses the plate. Yastrzemski stops at second. 2 runs have scored in the inning, and the Giants have a 4-1 lead.
All right, back on the Extra Inning postgame show on a Saturday night. 2 games in the books at Oracle Park, and the Giants are 2-0. Winners of the last 6 out of 7 games. Last loss they had was last Saturday against Cincinnati. They played a great week of baseball, sweeping the Astros, and now they won the first 2 out of 3 against the Mariners. Opportunity to bring the brooms tomorrow to sweep the Mariners and wait for the Cincinnati Reds to come in town for 3 games, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Next week we'll be on after the Yankee games. Of course, the Yankees are entertaining the Giants in a 3-game series in New York. First game is at 4:05. That's a Friday game. Saturday will be a 12:05 game. We'll be on right after that. And then Sunday will be a 10:35 a.m. game. That's all in New York. And then the Giants travel to Philadelphia and Anaheim on a really long 10-game road trip. So good stuff coming up. But the San Francisco Giants right now are on a roll. Good game today. 4 runs, 10 hits for the Giants. 1 run, 7 hits for the Seattle Mariners, which sets up the 3rd game of a 3-game series. Brian Wu on the hill for Seattle tomorrow. If you remember what he did last year, really a good pitcher. 9-3, 2.8 earned run average in 22 starts. This is the number that you have to really jumps out at you. 101 strikeouts and only 13 walks. 13 walks on the season for Brian Wu. You're going to see a fastball about 95, a sinker, a slider, a changeup, really the 4 good pitches, but he is always around the plate. And this is where the aggressiveness of the San Francisco Giants might come to get him. So we'll see what the 25-year-old does. And on the other side, in the orange and black, Jordan Hicks on the hill, 28-year-old right-hander, really pitched well in his first outing in Houston, going 6 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 6 punch-outs, bringing it up to about 99 miles an hour. He was on fire. So a good matchup tomorrow, 1:05 first pitch right here on KNBR. Dave Fleming and John Miller on the call. All right, let's get back to the phone lines. Let's go out to Stockton and talk to Don. Don, you're on the Extra Inning postgame show on a Saturday evening. Hope you're well.
Hey, Bill. How's it going?
This Giants team's playing good baseball, and I think that's what we have to look at in the first 8 games of the season. They're playing good, sound baseball, good defense, good pitching, timely hitting. You can't say too much negative about that.
Yeah, what I wanted to mention was I haven't been able to get to you for a couple weeks, but they have been stealing bases, which is big, helping them out. But their spring was unbelievable. I was looking back spring for since '58, and 23 wins in 2010 and 11, and they were percentage-wise they were better this year. 21 wins. They only had 6 losses and 3 ties, which is kind of unusual. But they, winning in 2010 for me was the first time they'd won a championship, and I see it again. I mean, it's hard not to be optimistic when they win 21 out of 28 games, 27 games.
They had a good spring, and everybody looks at spring training. I mean, I looked at the San Diego Padres. I think they only had 8-9 wins, and they pop out first. They're 6-0. It's really mindset on the veteran players and getting the young players in tune on what they have to do. And I think with Bob Melvin and Buster Posey and Bob Melvin's coaching staff really did an outstanding job in changing some of the mental part of the game, going the opposite way. Damon Minor, who they picked up from AAA, was a big plus. I felt a solid move by the Giants because he saw a lot of these young players, the Luis Matos, the Elliot Ramos, Tyler Fitzgerald. These guys came up through him in the AAA doors. And when you got a guy that knows the pluses and the minuses on hitting, I really felt Pat Burrell did a great job in picking up Damon Minor.
Yeah, we've got some young, great team that I just see they didn't need to pick up a big bat, and they're doing fine the way they are. I said it last year. go with what you got, and they're doing it. They look really good this year.
Yeah,
They're
Don. What do you think the chemistry is? What do you think this team is built on right now?
Chemistry, just young go-getters. Their catcher,
Patrick Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey. He came through last year in the couple years that he's played. Throwing people out at first base was just, man, what a spark. I mean,
yeah, the backside flip. I mean, he's done that a few times, and I really believe when Buster Posey went and got Willie Adames, and I've said this on many shows through spring training, is he just didn't get a shortstop. He looked at personality. He looked at fit. He looked at somebody that you can build around. Matt Chapman, he got latter part of the season last year. And I really believe that was a good makeup right there, a good makeup. And, of course, Jung-Hoo Lee, a healthy Jung-Hoo Lee. We didn't really see him much last year, so we really didn't know what to expect. But so far, so good right now in defense, hitting, and quick feet. He's got quick speed.
Yeah, I'm glad he's back. He got hurt last year hitting the wall. Mm-hmm. And Chapman is he is the guy that I want to see, not in 4, but like 5. An RBI spot, right? And Ramos. I mean, we've got a decent team. I mean, there's no two ways.
They're doing everything right now, and I think that's what we're watching. And consistent baseball. It's not one guy. It's the next guy or the next guy. Today it was really Jung-Hoo Lee and Matt Chapman. Put it on their backs.
Yeah.
You know, double here, double here, double here, double here, you know, and next thing you know, everybody at the base, from Yastrzemski blooping a ball in the right field, you talked about Wilmer Flores getting an RBI. These are just little add-ons that you want. You want the other guys just to get that hit, get that base hit, steal a bag, and the bottom of the order today just did well, with Wilmer Flores getting 2 knocks and Yastrzemski getting 1.
In the game yesterday, oh my God. That was just crazy.
It was.
I knew they were going to come back, you know?
Yeah.
I knew they were coming back.
That's what's
to win
great
that
about
game.
having a home team, right? You get the last at bat, you get that last punch in, and Tyler Fitzgerald ran through the stop sign of Mr. Williams, and I was looking at that and I watched it, and he was flying around the bag, and Tyler is got sprint speed. There was no way you were going to get him out at home, and he hit home plate with that little muffin, the glove he wears, and they were jumping, and it got crazy out there. But that was fun for opening day.
Yeah, you know what I like too is the Warriors are winning at the same time, and it's like, hey, Warriors won, the Giants win. It's like it's fun. I mean, the last 20 years have just been crazy.
Yeah, I was talking to my buddy. He and I are Warrior fans, and we talked about that the other day. We were laughing so hard. I go, the Giants get a big win, the Warriors get a big win. The Giants get an opening day win, and then the Warriors come back. And last night was such a good game against Denver and against the Lakers, too. 2 good games back-to-back.
Oh, and
I'm right
Nuggets.
there with you, Don. It's been fun.
Yeah, they beat the Nuggets, too, which they had to beat them. And now they got a chance to move into 3, which is
big game tomorrow with Houston. That's going to be a fun one. But Don, thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Don. I got some more calls coming in, so thank you for the call, and let's keep this optimism going the right way, my friend. All right, let's go out to Tony. Tony, you were at the game today. How are you doing? You're on the Extra Inning post-game show. What do you got for me tonight?
Bill Laskey, you big stud. Yeah, my boy Ty and myself, we were at the game. It was awesome for the reason being is, it was a great game. And
so did you get your bobblehead today from Matt Chapman?
Yeah, we were at Willie Mays Plaza. We were up there pretty close. So we got a bobblehead. We were looking for the gold one. It didn't happen. But, Bill, everything that you've said tonight is why the Giants are winning. Let's not get carried away. We're only 8 games into the season.
Oh, I never will. I think you know me, too. I think, Tony, you know me very well. I'm even keeled. I pat them on the back when they're doing well. I'm excited about them. And when there's a bluster and there's a couple here and there, there's just a hurdle they got to go through, and I'm the first one to tell you that. And today, that not scoring in the first 3 innings, and Bryce Miller was throwing the ball real well for him, and he's had a good year for him so far. And they finally got to him, and they got to him in the 4th inning with 2 doubles back to back.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But everything you've been saying tonight about what the Giants are doing, they're getting great pitching. They're getting productive hitting. creative hitting. They're stealing bases. They're being aggressive. The Giants aren't getting much respect in MLB.
That's fine. That's fine, isn't it? Hey, that's fine,
yeah,
Tony.
absolutely.
Let him. Don't talk about him. Don't talk about him at all.
Yeah, well,
let him be the sleeping giant.
Yeah, absolutely. And teams love that. And I think where you're going to find if they're going to gain a little bit of respect is that you get respect by winning. But I think you'll get a little bit of respect if you handle your business with Seattle tomorrow and maybe take 2 or 3 from Cincy. Yep. You're going to get respect if you go into the Yankee Stadium next week and take care of business there. I'm not saying you're going to sweep the Yankees.
That's going to be a good road trip. That's going to be a good test for this club. And you go into the visiting teams like we saw in Cincinnati opening day, how wild that was in Cincinnati. The whole place was all in red. And they come back and steal that one in the bottom of the 9th. That was such an exciting game, just like it was yesterday. Both the home openers in Cincinnati and yesterday were fun games.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, veteran leadership is keeping these guys. Buster is all baseball. And there's no doubt about that. Between the lines, and that Buster is all baseball, and that's exactly what they're playing. They're playing Buster ball. They're having a good time.
Yeah, and the confidence is showing. That's the good thing, Tony. The confidence is showing, and it's the next guy up. If I don't do it, the next guy up. Just like when I said about Elliot Ramos. Hey, fly ball to right field, got him over to third. Ground ball to first baseman, got him over to third. And he comes into dugout, and everybody's high-fiving him because that's the job you have to do at that time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Productive at bat. That's what wins you ball games is productive at bats, moving guys over. And, I think the Giants are going to have a fantastic year. We'll have to see. They're in a tough division.
Sure. It's baseball starting, though. That's the fun part of it, Tony. The 2025 season's here. We're going to watch this team get better. We're going to see them go through hurdles and some ruts. But this team's got leadership, like you just said, with some of the older players. Even talking about Verlander coming in there talking. He's really saying that this team's got excitement in it, and he's watching it build. And here's a 42-year-old Cy Young winner, and he's excited about this team. So there's stuff in that clubhouse, that chemistry is building. And you're starting to hear it a little bit more out, from these players. But all in all, it's been a great start, and let's see how far we can keep going.
I agree with you. Hey, Bill, keep rocking it. Take care, and you enjoy your weekend, brother.
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate the call. I'm glad you got a bobblehead, and I'm glad you had a good time at the ballpark. And 40,885 were at the ballpark today. 40,865 yesterday. The orange and black, boy, it will look so sharp out there. I didn't get out to the games. I'll get out there this week against the Reds. But from the TV set I'm watching, boy, it seemed like a lot of good times out there from Giants fans, as well as how this team's playing and how Giants fans are starting to believe in the chemistry of this team and how they're just going out there doing their business, the good defense. The final play of the game, Matt Chapman makes an outstanding play. Willie Adames makes a good play on a ball that's rolled short to him. The double play balls, Adames, Fitzgerald, and then Fitzgerald toe-tapping the bag and making a double play for Birdsong. All good quality defense. And that's what we want to continue to keep seeing with this orange and black attack. All right, let's go out to Lemo. Dave. Dave, you're out in Sacramento. Dave, how you doing on a Saturday evening?
Awesome, Bill Laskey. Drove tonight, wore my Giants crisp-pressed long-sleeve shirt, black and orange tie.
Okay, you're styling. You're styling.
San Francisco Giants watch that my wife got me 2 Christmases ago. I told her the
everything's working, man. Everything's working for you.
I told her the wedding ring is because I love her and will be with her forever, and the Giants watch guaranteed it.
Beautiful. See, I mean, what can you ask for more, right, Dave?
Absolutely. So, hey, the whole thing, the thing that's really changed the attitude is Buster Posey. Buster Posey's a champion. He's only 37 years old. He can relate to all these guys. Verlander's older than him.
I know. But I heard that the other day. I started laughing. Yeah. And you don't really realize it until somebody says it, hey, you signed Justin Verlander, and he's 4 years older than you, and he's played 20 years in the big leagues. And it's just the conversations that you hear, from the writers asking Buster and Verlander and Bob Melvin, the conversations you've had that Buster Posey had with Justin Verlander, Buster Posey had with Willie Adames, and the trust that these guys have really, really brought to the Giants through both of these veteran leaders, and both of them are looking at this team going, wow, there's excitement here. There's something new here. And Willie Adames yesterday, I never went to an opening day like that, and he says it was just so, everything was just so new to him. And the fan base, and just like Justin Verlander said when he was warming up in the bullpen, the fan base and how everybody was just cheering, and he just said, this is special. And let's see how it goes. I mean, we're early. I'm not jumping anywhere. They're 7-1. But this is the kind of start where we're looking for. This was the kind of start where we can take those last 6 years and blow them out the door and start with this new era of baseball.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and the thing is, we're in a tough division. Diamondbacks are going to be good. Padres already good. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. So you've got probably 4 of the 6 top teams in the National League in the Western Division. And with Buster Posey, I like the guy earlier said Buster Ball. This is great.
That's
he's
That's
a catcher. Catchers generally believe you got to be strong up the middle. Shortstop, second, center field, catcher. You got to have your pitching, and the team is lined up for that. Of course, we got Matt Chapman at third, which is phenomenal. Don't hit the ball to the left side of the field because it's pretty much going to be an automatic yellow.
Both of those guys. Let me ask you: do you like Willie Adames' purple glove?
I don't care if he wore a red glove.
As long as he catches them right, it doesn't matter what color they are.
Right, and we've got I think we've got that. In 10, 12, we had that perfect mixture of young guys that are homegrown and nice amount of veterans. And again, not saying we're going to win it all this year.
I think you also said it, Dave.
Exciting.
The defense up the middle, that's how you build championships. And I had a nice interview with Tyler Fitzgerald. It's on the podcast if you want to listen to it. But I talked about him moving from shortstop to second base. It's not really an easy change. He accepted it. He worked at it in spring training. And today I just loved it because Willie Adames was flying across. He led him perfectly for a double play. And then when he was playing up the middle, the toe tap on Birdsong when he got it and threw to first, you have to get strength up the middle. You have to build that chemistry. And now with a healthy Jung-Hoo Lee, the middle of the defense is spectacular.
After the year Fitzgerald had last year, remember he had 15 homers and taters. And I could see him moving along and maybe, reminding people of Robbie Thompson a little bit.
A little bit, sure.
Well,
Marco Scudero, I asked him also, Dave, I asked him about Marco Scudero, and he came into camp, and he said he really just taught him angles, where you go this way, where do you go this way, quicker to the feet, quicker with your hands, the balance. And I asked Tyler one of the plays, the ball going down the right field line, it's a different angle for him. And all he said is a different twist. And when he was at shortstop, it's a different twist with your body. At second base, it's a different twist. And you start thinking about it, and he's 100% right when you're thinking about shortstop and second. And I think now that he's at second base, he can work at it. He loves having Matt Williams, Ron Wotus hit him hundreds of ground balls. He said, sometimes I wish they could hit him harder because most of the time in games, they are hit harder. But you can't do that all the time.
You brought up Marco. You brought up Marco Scudero, and I was listening to the Dodgers and Giants play, and Vin Scully said, Marco Scudero, a wonderful ball player. and then you go back to the pictures, from the championship magazines where he's standing there and the rain's coming down. And
that was exciting.
You just brought up another incredible Giant memory. That's
sure did.
But that's what the Giants bring championship guys back into their spring training.
You talked about Buster Ball. That's what he did. And they came into camps and they came in to help players, not coach them, not saying I know more than your coaches, but help them. And conversations can help you.
The biggest play, one of the neatest plays in the game, not only the fact that the back-to-back doubles and so on and so forth, but Jung-Hoo Lee stealing third.
Yes, loved it. Loved it.
Oh,
how about 11 stolen bases, Dave, in 8 games? That's something new for him.
Exactly. We didn't see that in the last 5-6 years.
They were 30th every year. Yep, 30th. They were last every year. You heard Bob Melvin talking about it. We didn't really see it at first, but boy, they took off in Houston. They're taking off now here at home. Love that. Love that. And, that's this aggressiveness and going from first to third, testing out those arms. That's what I love about this team so far, and we're going to see more of it. I mean, that's the key. Some guys are going to get thrown out, but you want to see aggressiveness. And if you get them into scoring position, that's one more plus. But, Dave, thanks for the call today. I appreciate the time you give me, and we'll talk more as the season gets going. Let's go out to San Francisco and talk to Sam. Sam, you're on a late night with Extra Innings with Bill Laskey. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, Bill. Nice to have the privilege of talking to you.
I appreciate the time tonight. I really do. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, I just wondered about a question. If you go through a stop sign rounding third and you're thrown out at the plate, do you get fined?
No, you don't get fined, but you're going to be asked about 100 questions of why you did it. Yesterday, I think the excitement just got there, and Tyler's got the quickest sprint speed, and he cuts the bases so quick. And what got me was when he did it, the right fielder was so close in. I mean, he wasn't playing deep at all.
Really?
He didn't really bobble it. It took him a little time to get the ball out of his hands.
Yeah.
And when Tyler made that turn, he cut it perfectly, and he beat that throw, no question.
Wow. That's exciting, stealing third base.
That was fun today. I love seeing that. And, of course, Willie Adames tried to steal second. That was a bang-bang play, and they had to go to replay to find it. But it's just what we're not seeing. We didn't see this last year. We haven't seen them attack the stolen bases like they're doing right now.
You got these veterans now that are very respectable ball players, and the younger guys look up to them, and they're making it work.
Yeah, they are. And I think that's what you hear in the clubhouse when you're hearing more and more people feeling the confidence, and there's more conversation of baseball going on in there. It's not about iPads and looking at analytics on who I can hit and who I can't hit. And that was the hard part that baseball and I think Giants fans had to watch. And for the last couple of years, it really went backwards because the analytics was a good part of the game, and it is a good part of the game because it's information. And, you want as much information as you can give, but you still got to play the game. You still got to put your belt on, your socks, and your uniform and go out and compete. And that's what Bob Melvin's been coaching at. That's why Bob Melvin is a player manager. He sees this. He feels it. And the coaching staff he has from Matt Williams, Mark Hallberg, all these guys, JP Martinez, they're all trying to support him as well as trying to make this team better. And that's what we're seeing so far in the 7-1 record.
I'm excited that these players for the Giants, they know that the Giants were very successful as a wild card. Mm-hmm. So that's always out there.
Yeah, it's so far ahead, though, Sam, when you start looking at 162-game season and, people are like, oh, don't get so high, don't get so low. Yeah. We're not. Yeah. I mean, if you stay even keel, we're only 8 games in. But when you're 7-1 in 8 games and you're seeing what we're seeing, and it's different than what we've seen in the last couple of years. It's Absolutely. A different mentality. Yeah. It's a different drive. It's a different game. And they're playing baseball like it should be, going the opposite way. I mentioned Elliot Ramos giving up and out to get the guy to third.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Baseball. That is baseball. Bunting, and all the different things on the defensive side with Chapman coming in with the bare hands and Willie Adames doing it. And that's what we got to continue to see. Elliot Ramos, we really haven't talked about him much in left field, and he's playing a stellar outfield, diving for some balls, knocking balls down. And with Matos and Yastrzemski and right, it's a good combination there.
The last thing, not to be a downer, but I really miss Vida.
Yeah, you know what, Sam, it's going on 2 years now, and, I never stopped thinking about him, and I think a lot of people know my friendship I had with Vida for many, many years, and we were Mutt and Jeff. You could call us Heckle and Jekyll. You could call us anything. We had fun, and the people around us, when we walked into a room, we made them laugh, and we made them understand that we were people and not just baseball players. And Vida Blue, I always said, he could have been mayor of Oakland or mayor of San Francisco. That's how many people loved him. But thanks for bringing him up, Sam. I always appreciate when people do that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Let's go to Lathrop and talk to my buddy Sergio. Sergio, thanks for holding on, bud. What's up?
No problem, Bill. Anytime for you, buddy. Yeah, hold on. No, as long as you need it.
Thanks, my friend. Well, good start right now, Sergio. 7-1. It's a good start. Some good competition coming up. Of course, the Reds are coming in. They took 2 out of 3 from the Cincinnati. Next road trip's going to be good. They're going to have to really play some solid baseball in New York, Philadelphia, and then they come down to the Angels, and the Angels are a little better than what we've seen in the past few years.
Yeah, like you said a little while ago, fundamental baseball, Bill. That's, call me old-fashioned, but that's what I believe in. And if you
that's good baseball right there, buddy.
Yeah.
Sergio, you and I both talk about it. That's ground baseball. Yeah. That's what we grew up on.
I mean, heck, I really called to complain about having nothing to complain about because I was telling you, it's a great color. The outfield's playing terrific. Like you said, diving for balls. The infield, the Chapman, shortstop.
Adames,
right
Adames and Fitzgerald. The other thing too, Sergio, we really haven't talked about it, and I think we really need to mention it, is Lamont Wade Jr. at first base. He has played stellar over there, picking a lot of balls in the dirt. The stretches on some of the plays, on the double plays, he's really reaching out there, and I think he's healthy this year. Of course, the past couple of years, hamstrings and a lower back, and I think that's where we really need to kind of circle a little bit more, give him a little more credit than what we've seen, and we really haven't talked about him much, but he has been playing some very good first base.
And when you have a Fitzgerald play second base, having guys like him, the other infielders, around him, it just kind of helps them, as far as motivation and just good positive
getting comfortable. I think getting comfortable
exactly,
playing. Yeah. And Sergio, you and I have talked about. Yeah, we've talked about middle of the infield, and last year I know you and I talked a lot about Fitzgerald playing shortstop. He had to take it over. Mm-hmm. You didn't have much there at shortstop, and for what he did, you got to pat him on the back. He is not a shortstop. He's really not a second baseman. He's more of an outfielder, but with his quickness and his hands and how much he's learned a position, you got to give it to the kid. He's playing his heart out, and the hitting side hasn't come around yet. But, he's that 9-1-2. That's what I like about him in that 9-hole. You give him speed coming up to the top of the order if he gets on.
Yeah, and don't forget when he gets on base, the speed that he has. I think he's probably the fastest guy in the team that we have, right?
The sprint speed. They always talk about the first few steps of sprint speed, and he's got the best.
he ran third base.
I know.
What are you doing, man?
He went right by Matt Williams. He's like, no way, Matt. You're not holding me up, buddy.
Yeah.
But you know what, Sergio? That's aggressiveness, right? You can't take that away from a ball player.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, well, he's going to learn. Like I said, he's got great features around him. So especially having Matt Williams, I'm like, come on, man. What else do you want?
Yeah.
Like
well,
said,
Sergio, thanks for the call tonight. Sergio, thank you for the call. Let's keep the spirit going, and the positives are weighing a lot more than the negatives, and I think that's what Giants baseball is all about so far.
Oh yeah. Go Giants. Go Giants.
All right, Sergio, thanks for the call. Let's go out to Berkeley and talk to Andrea. Andrea, you're on a late night with me tonight. How are you, my dear?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, good baseball game today. I just love the energy. I think that's what all Giants fans are seeing, the energy, the stability of the players, and it's just good, solid baseball, and we haven't seen that in a few years.
Yes, 7-1, 6 wins in a row, and just a magical festive home opener yesterday as the Giants celebrated 25 years at the ballpark, and that Dusty Baker and Barry Bonds there, and FP on the postgame show said something very touching. I hope I can get it right. It was something like first home opener, Willie Mays wasn't there, but he was there in spirit, and then someone named Willie got the walk-off win, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, the Willie combination, which is it's so true, and of course, all Giants fans, they see the Willie Mays statue as you walk into the ballpark.
Yes.
It's such a greeting of one of the greatest players, and of course, last year we lost him. And I just think when you look at this team, Andrea, they have a different spirit. They have a different gusto. They have a different accelerator they're pushing this year. And right now everything's working. And tomorrow we get to see Jordan Hicks come back out there. And boy, oh boy, he threw extremely well in Houston.
Yes, I remember the press conference when Willie Adames went to the Giants, and he talked about a good vibe in the clubhouse and creating that energy. It's like, oh, and how about that? He was, he's helped have that energy happen. And I just looked him up, September 2nd, 1995. And he's 29. He's having his Saturn return, which is a huge cycle of career success, increased ambition. And that's 28 to 30, so that's a big year.
That's good, yeah.
Is Saturn return, and I really like Chapman. First off, congratulations on yet another Gold Glove.
Five of them, and 2 platinum ones to add onto it. And did you see the picture of him? I love Patrick Bailey's catching glove. You don't see too many catcher's gloves that are gold, and I think Kruger Kipe said that's a pretty cool look, and I thought it was pretty cool too. It's a different style, of course, the catcher's glove with the round glove itself, and it was just so cool, that picture they had of him and Matt Chapman collecting their Gold Gloves today. Really good vibes right off the bat of this homestand.
Yeah, I know the Giants really know how to create these special events, and that was really nice to see the Gold Gloves for both of them. And, great to have Adames there and win yesterday, the 4-hour game in extra innings and the walk-off
game yesterday.
win.
That's why I said in the beginning, I think all Giants players and coaches were like, we got a night game tomorrow. Yay, we can sleep in a little bit.
Good timing from the universe on that. And, the only challenge, Verlander went under 3 innings. But again, February 20th, 1983, I always say the Giants got an extra pitching coach in the deal. So
we sure did. Today, how about today? Robbie Ray, 33-year-old, turns it over to Hayden Birdsong at 23, 10 years difference.
Yes, and he
it was a good combination right there, Andrea.
Yeah, how about that? Good call on that, Bill. And of Birdsong's, my favorite Grateful Dead.
I know, that's your favorite player. I know it is.
Favorite player. And 2 really good innings from Birdsong coming out of the bullpen.
Yep.
And, just so you know, Virgos don't do so well adapting to change, and he was a starter. But he's doing quite well adapting to the bullpen.
That's his second time, and I was wondering if he was going to try to push him for 3 innings, but he went with the closer, which was a good idea. Don't put pressure on the kid. He gave you 2 good innings, and the bullpen needed a rest after that long game yesterday. But we'll find out more, Andrea. Tomorrow's the 3rd game, and see if they can sweep the Mariners. But thank you so much for the call tonight.
Yes, thank you. Great show. And
thanks so much, Andrea. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, and great calls tonight. Really appreciate all the Giant fans with their energy and support here, and as we're watching this team, and this team's building momentum, and I think that's what all Giants fans watching this team and believing in this team, that's what we want to continue to see. And tomorrow, Jordan Hicks takes the hill at 105 against Brian Wu, and we'll be on right after that. But coming up next, I sit down with a AAA pitching coach, Alan Keano, and we talk about some of the pitchers that are down there, and I think all Giants fans understand this. Kyle Harrison getting sent down to AAA as one of the starting pitchers last year. Tristan Beck, a player that had an injury last year out of spring training, and I'm going to put so much pressure on himself to get back in September. You got Keaton Wynn down there who had elbow issues. It goes on and on. Sean Jelly, 6'11". He had a great year last year, but things happen, and things happen where they get sent down to AAA, and they have to fight back. And it's really how these players do that and how they go out there as pitchers to try to put zeros on the board. I sat down with Alan this past week, and we did it yesterday and on Friday, and we really sat back and kind of dissected what he had. And I think Giants fans will enjoy this because we always talk you never have enough pitching. Well, we're going to find out all these pitchers that they have down there, which is one of the best staffs in the minor leagues. So sit back, relax. We're going to have Alan Keano coming up next as we talk about Sacramento Rivercat baseball. We're going to take a quick break. This is the Extra Inning Post-Game Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
Your financial journey is unique, and Pettinelli Financial Partners is here to help you navigate it with confidence. So whether you're building your future or securing your retirement, their team provides lifelong personal guidance every step of the way. Start planning your financial journey today. Learn more at PettinelliFP.com. The financial consultants at Pettinelli Financial Partners are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Stratus Wealth Partners, a registered investment advisor. Stratus Wealth Partners and Pettinelli Financial Partners are separate entities from LPL Financial.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with former Giants right-hander Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Hear him on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR. Play KNBR.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning post-game show with Bill Laskey. My guest has been with the Giants for over 5 years and starting his second full season as the Sacramento River Cat pitching coach. Let's welcome back Alan Keano. Alan, how are you today?
I'm good, Bill. How are you?
So glad to catch up with you. Of course, the Sacramento River Cats has started their 2025 season. You are in Las Vegas at the current time, and you're playing the Aviators. The River Cats are 3-3 going into tonight's game, and this is being taped on Friday. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen the first 6 games.
Right now, obviously, we're rich in pitching and just trying to take care of every guy and get him innings when he can get them. And these guys, I mean, there's young and old here, and they're doing a great job going out there and competing. We had a little hiccup on Tuesday, but since then, these guys have really just taken off. I mean, the first 3 games, if you look at it, they came out and did their job. And then last night and the night before, we did pretty good. It's really cold here in Vegas, Bill, for the first time. Freezing.
Well, you talk about top-line pitchers. 5 of them are the top 30 prospects in the Giants organization, and over a half dozen have been in the big leagues. How does this mixture work with you, and how does that work well for the River Cats?
Well, with me, it's good because I don't have to say a lot. These younger kids get to watch these older guys go to work because they've already put in a lot of time. You know, you talk about Lucchese, Diaz, and I don't want to miss anybody, but that have been there and done this for a long time, even Harrison and those guys. So for these young guys, it's good. And for the River Cats right now, it's really good for them to get to see these young guys go through. So, you know, the Giants keep pitching the way they're pitching, and we keep showing that they can, these younger guys can pitch too. It's only going to look better for, you know, the whole Giants organization.
Alan, tough decisions were made. Buster Posey, along with J.P. Martinez, Bob Melvin, really got rid of a couple top-line relievers in the bullpen with Sean Jelly and Tristan Beck. But I think the biggest surprise was Kyle Harrison. You know, you have to be a psychologist. You have to be a coach. You have to be that uplifter. These 3 guys all pitched in the big leagues last year. How difficult was that for them to come down to the River Cats? And then now they have to get focused on getting better.
You know what's crazy is all 3 of those guys have handled this really well. You know, there's been no sort of bitterness. They put their head down, they went to work. And, you know, with Harry, we knew that, you know, maybe everything wasn't lined up and ready to go. And his last outing, I will tell you, was impressive. And for me, I think that he's right where he needs to be. Jelly and Beck just need to get ready to go to be able to make their jump again. They've already had some success up there at the big leagues, and they're handling everything like pros. And I forgot those 2 when I talked about it earlier, but they are leading us down there in the bullpen as far as Jelly and Beck, and Harry's going about his business as a pro, and they know they're here to work, and that's what they're doing right now.
That voice you hear on the Extra Inning post-game show is the pitching coach for the Sacramento River Cats, Alan Keano. Looking at last year, the team finished 80-70, a team earned run average about 4.9, giving up 175 home runs. But I think the biggest thing is over 1,400 strikeouts. When I talked to J.P. Martinez through spring training, a couple things have changed. The first pitch strike, trying to get more into the zone. The pace of the game, trying to get the pitchers to move, of course, a little quicker between pitch to pitch. And, of course, the dreaded walk, giving up that 90-foot free pass. Tell me your thoughts about all these new things that are happening with the pitching staff.
I think it's a great direction on where we're going as far as just attacking early and making these guys make the hitter make a decision. I mean, you know, you've been around the game a long time. Let's let the hitter react to what we're doing as long as we're in the zone. And that's kind of where we've shifted, which is good. I mean, we did strike out a lot of guys last year, but I think some of the things we could have done better was get our starters, you know, deeper into games and be more efficient. So we're kind of going after that, trying to create the hitter to make a decision. And, you know, Seymour did that the other night, and Wisenhunt did that the outing before. So the message is being received, and we're making sure that we execute that here.
Alan, one of the hardest things for pitchers is the Pacific Coast League. Balls fly out of there. Tendencies that a fly ball turns into a home run. It's the mental side of the game that you have to tell these pitchers, hey, it was a good pitch. It was a quality pitch. Things happen in the Pacific Coast League. How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Pacific Coast League will make a man out of you a little bit, because you're going to have to deal with a home run that you didn't normally was going to, get out. So like these guys, and even balls on the ground, even here in Vegas, we had a couple balls sneak through the other day because the ground's so hard. And they just have to worry about making the next pitch. And that goes with the message that the organization has given everybody on attacking people. Get the ball on the ground and let's make some quick outs real fast. And those things are going well here for us, and keeping the mindset of just keep attacking, because these guys here are seeing guys get called up with numbers that maybe don't make sense, and the ERA is kind of, lowered in value, but they're watching guys get called up with ERAs in the 6s and 7s. So we just try to keep them, logical with what they're doing and focus on their work. And that's what they've done so far over the last year and change, I should say.
Alan, the top line pitchers, boy, you got a lot of them. When you look at the top 5 prospects, you got Carson Whisenhunt at number 2, Trevor McDonald at number 10, Mason Black at 12, Carson Ragsdale at number 21, Carson Seymour even better at number 20. A lot of young talent, a lot of good arms, a lot of things to learn from you. What are some of the key points you talk to these guys about?
For me, the mental game is the biggest thing, and getting these guys through, like you said, Bill, you talked about the PCL and how tough it is. These kids coming from AA and some other places, it's hard. And some of these guys have already been here, the Seymours, the Whisenhunts. But, away from Sacramento, they didn't pitch sometimes all that great. And we have to get them ready to make pitches in tough places. They still got to play in Colorado. They got to play other places that are small, like Cincinnati at times. So we have to make sure that they're ready for that. And these guys, you see the growth from like a Whisenhunt, a Seymour, Ragsdale, from already being in the PCL and Black and coming into this year. They are more focused on that than, hey, this next pitch could get me to the big leagues. They're just worried about their work, and they're focused on what they need to do and keeping them, intact on what their goals are is kind of my goal for them. And the other thing that you talked about earlier, when they get to watch these older veterans work, it really is good, because they're seeing guys like Luke Casey, and I keep saying him because he's got a lot of innings logged as a starter in the big leagues, and they're watching that guy work. They're watching Jelly work. They're watching Beck work. So they know that, it's just not going to happen overnight, and I need to put my head down and go.
That voice you hear on the Extra Inning postgame show is a pitching coach for the Sacramento Rivercats, Alan Keano. You talked about this earlier too, Alan. How do you get these guys work? You have such a great starting staff. You have an overabundance of arms in the bullpen. How do you keep these guys live? How do you keep them getting innings?
Well, I think it's so early right now. We did a lot of sim games before the season started. And right now we're running a piggyback system with a 5-man rotation, which is trying to get everybody loose. And you never know, again, I go back to the PCL, you never know what's going to happen. Like the other night, Ragsdale, 5 quick outs, and then all of a sudden, things started happening. And the same thing happened for Juan Mercedes, where he went out there and things didn't go his way. So innings will appear, as you know. The game will give you what you need, and we're just doing our best to try to navigate through it. And the hardest part right now is to get the bullpen innings, and we're doing a great job of trying to keep them fresh and keep them going through. Plus, it's so early. We'll get in a groove here and get going. So we're working it out.
Well, 2 starting pitchers that have come out of the bullpen so far, Carson Seymour, of course, the number 20 prospect, 6'6", 225 right-hander, really has pitched very well. 9 innings so far. We're only giving up 5 hits, 2 walks. When you're looking at 13 Ks coming out of the bullpen, that has to be pretty strong. And then Mason Black yesterday going 4 innings, only giving up 1 walk, 7 Ks. These guys are top-line starters. Is it difficult for them to learn coming out of the bullpen? And what are some of the things that you tell them, the tendencies to get ready, prepare to come in the middle of a game?
We're trying our best to get them clean innings so they kind of know it's coming. Of course, that's going to be different for starters, and we have tried to make that happen for them in a good fluid motion. So I mean, there is no perfect formula when you're coming out of the pen, but we try to line it up as best as we can. And we tried to do it the other day with trying to bridge Beck and Jelly to get to Black and Mercedes. So, you know, it's not perfect, but Black handled it beautifully, you know, doing the amount of work that he did, and he just attacked with his heater when he came out of the bullpen. And then we talked after the game, and he's like, yeah, I still got to get my feet wet on how I want to come out of the pen, because he started it most of his minor league career. And so we're working on that, and those are going to be some of the challenges we have. But as long as they have the right mindset of, I still got to come in, I got to attack, I got to get my feet underneath me and get settled in. And I think, you know, they're going to be fine when they do that.
Couple arms coming out of the bullpen. Joel Peguero, a guy that throws over 100 miles an hour, just steady as could be. Coming over, of course, last year he was with another club. Then you look at Juan Mercedes, another right-hander. A couple of these guys saw some innings in big league camp. What have you seen out of some of the new arms and some of the regulars that you've seen the last year?
Oh, gosh, this could go on forever. So you talk about Peguero. He pitched last night in a really close, extra inning ball game and kept the game tight, just throwing a power hard fastball with a nice slider. Hellchris Olivares, a beautiful left-handed arm, just needs to clean up his mechanics a little bit. And he's a young kid. He's throwing in the upper 90s. And then you got Antonio Jimenez, Juan Mercedes, who had a beautiful year in Double-A last year with the Seattle Mariners. And then you go into some of our other guys like Justin Garza, and I've already talked about Lucchese, but there's so many arms down there that just they did a great job of grabbing abundance of arms. And so we're just trying to make sure that we showcase them and then that we keep them right. And I mean, the Peguero guy last night, he handled that great. He had two runners on, gave up a little shot to the right side, and then settled in nicely and held the game for us, and then Garza finished it off.
Couple more questions with Alan Keano, the pitching coach for the River Cats. Alan, when you go out and talk to some of these pitchers, you got to look straight up in the air, because you got guys at 6'8", Carson Ragsdale, 6'11", Sean Jelly, 6'6", Carson Seymour. How does that make you feel?
Well, I feel small. I'm already a smaller guy anyways, but I feel small. It's almost like I got to get a ladder to get out there. And then most of the time, like with Jelly, I feel like it'd take two of me to get to the top of him. So, no, most of them are gentle giants, and it's beautiful to talk with them and do that. But my neck does hurt when I get done.
Well, let's finish up with this. 2025 baseball season is underway. The River Cats are on the road right now. What are your projections for this staff, and how do you feel about it?
This staff is great. My biggest thing, Bill, in all of what I've done as far as a coach is, can we keep their mind right, and are they good people, and are they going to come to work every day? And right now, this group, most of this group I know from last year and having some of them in the lower minor leagues, and they have had a great outlook on starting the season. And, of course, we talked about the PCL and how it can get you a little bit. My job, and you brought this up, of being a psychologist, is to keep them focused on the day-to-day and not get out of line when we go to Albuquerque or El Paso and the ball starts flying, right? So, my outlook is we have the great, prospects right now, but for us it means nothing unless we go out and perform. And that's the job that's tasked on myself and the staff here, so that we can get these guys where they need to be and help the Giants organization. So that's what we're doing right now. And right now, a lot of these guys are really having the right mindset of going out and just throwing strikes like we talked about, getting on hitters quick and getting out of that inning really quick.
Well, Alan, thank you so much for catching up with us. The 2025 season is upon us. We'll be checking in with you as the season progresses, but have a good time in Las Vegas.
Yeah, will do. Thanks, Bill. Talk to you later.
That was Alan Keano, the pitching coach of the Sacramento River Cats, on the Extra Inning Post-Game Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey keeps the postgame rolling live right here.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, the sports leader.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey as we finish out a Saturday. Giants win today 4-1. They've won 6 games in a row to up their record to 7-1. A great start for the San Francisco Giants. They're going to do it all over again tomorrow. 1:05 first pitch. Jordan Hicks throws for the Giants. Brian Wu throws for the Mariners. And Dave Fleming and John Miller will have that call. After that game, the Extra Inning Postgame Show will follow that. 2 good guests tomorrow. Jamie Moore, he pitched 25 years in Major League Baseball. Of course, he's in the Seattle Mariner Hall of Fame. Got to sit down and talk to him. And then Mark Hallberg, also the first base coach of the San Francisco Giants. 2 good interviews tomorrow. I want to thank my guest today, Alan Keano. Of course, you'll hear that on the KNBR All podcast if you didn't get a chance to listen to that interview. Really good stuff from the Sacramento Rivercat pitching coach. I want to thank my producer tonight, Kyle Haar, and also Ryan for picking up the calls. And I want to thank Giants fans for making those calls. Some great conversation about the San Francisco Giants. For Bill Laskey and the Extra Inning Postgame Show, have a good night. Be safe, be well. More coming up right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
It's another great outing for the righty on your home of San Francisco Giants baseball. This is KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
KNBR 104.5 and 680. These